This is a Cosmic Octave original podcast.
Me and Jake running down the street with a handful of comic books, kicking ass and banging chicks and drinking booze
No, not
and
me.
smoking
Not
weed.
me. I'm married.
Yeah, well,
I'm married.
Jake.
Can't do that.
Yeah. Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode 126, I think. I could be wrong.
125.5.
We're doing a half?
Well, we're just doing a review of the Godzilla
Minus One, and you're going to just give it a half? Wow. I think it is 25.5, sorry.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right, 25.5. But this isn't your usual episode. It is a half episode because we're just doing the review, and we have a special guest.
Well, what was really, really cool was, we have a special guest, and we'll let you know who that is when we get them on. But what was really cool is you, Jake, texted me, "Hey, do you want to go see Godzilla?"
I figured you wanted to see
And then
it.
our special guest texted me literally within 5 minutes of that. I can't remember which one of you guys texted first, but within 5 minutes saying, "Hey, I want to be on the podcast to talk about Godzilla Minus One."
Yeah.
Like within 5 minutes, and I was like, "Well, that's got to happen. I mean, fate has decreed it so."
So here we go.
Yeah,
we're going to call our special guest.
Get it going here. We're not sure.
Our special guest, reviewer,
Yes,
none other than Tyler's brother.
Carter.
How are you doing,
Hey.
Carter?
I'm doing very well. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, it's a good Sunday. So I was telling. So here, a couple things. We got a lot to unpack here, but first things first. Jake has never seen a Japanese-produced Godzilla movie, which I don't know about you, Carter, but to me, that like when I think about that, I think about like the Tohos from like the 70s and 80s or the 60s, 70s. With like the guy in the suit and the miniatures and the Mothra and the mecha, all those. This is a lot different. It's still a Japanese produced Godzilla movie. Godzilla Minus One is what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But it's different because it's a lot more advanced, just kind of technically than the ones that you and I grew up on. So, what could we tell him about those movies that we grew up on?
Well, so I think, I mean, they're definitely the special effects, the filmmaking techniques are way more advanced. In a lot of ways. I mean, but I think that the spirit is still there, right? I mean, it's very much in the same formula as I would argue almost all of them.
Yeah.
Because there's this definite I think you go back all the way to the original, and that one had the reliance on the monster, right, as an element of the story. People will say, well, gosh, it's if you say, hey, I'm going to watch Godzilla, and you see it, and it's like he's in it for 15 minutes, right? So I think that's still there, right? I mean, it's not that my dinner with Godzilla, right? Where we're just gonna sit around with him and chatting for 2 hours. It's like Jaws. And I think especially this one, real quick, Jaws is probably like a really great example of how they use Godzilla, right, the monster.
Yeah.
So
real quick, I wanted to point that out because I did. There is, once you see Godzilla in the front of the movie, the first iteration kind of.
Yeah.
There's a long stretch of no Godzilla, right? I don't know if you noticed this, Jake, but there was like a family of like 6.
Yeah.
That came in like right when the movie was starting, and I'm pretty sure they walked out of the movie. Did you see all that?
No, they didn't walk out. They walked out at the end, like when it was pretty much over.
Are you sure?
They didn't see the very end of it, but they watched it.
Huh. Because I felt like I was looking at that and what I perceived as people walking out, and I was like, and like 5 minutes later, Godzilla comes out, and it's like, you guys fucking really screwed up here.
No,
Like, this
it
is
was
great.
after he had. Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah, sorry.
For this review, it was after the end of the movie where
Okay.
it was at the end of the final.
I'm
fight.
glad they didn't walk out because I mean, I could,
Yeah, real quick. So this is my first Japanese Godzilla.
Yep.
I'd only known the American versions.
Including the Matthew Broderick one.
You gotta understand.
Unfortunately, Carter.
The Matthew Broderick one was coming out when I was a kid, and I liked it because I didn't know any better.
I went and saw it in the theater, man. It was supposed to be. I was telling Jake how it was supposed to be like that big, the big summer tent pole that year, and huge marketing dollars, huge, and just bombed. Like, just a bad, not a good Godzilla movie.
No.
What was your take on that one?
My take?
Yeah, on that one, so long ago. I don't even remember the last time I saw
I
it.
mean, Yokiro Godzilla, right?
Yeah.
That Taco Bell dog.
That's all I think of. Yeah, when I think of that.
I'll tell you what. So here's a good example of how, when I was living in Iowa City, I was working at a small independent weekly, The Icon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was writing reviews for them, and I got a chance to see Godzilla in advance, and I said, I'm going to write a review. I'm a Godzilla fan, and
Nice.
and I unloaded on it, and I gave it just a whooping right in my review. And so then some time passes, like not maybe a week or whatever, and a bunch of my friends are like, well, we want to see it, and I said, oh, okay, I'll go again.
Right.
And I watched it with them, and there was this kid couple rows ahead of us, and spoilers for the people who haven't seen the
That's
Ferris
30
Bueller
years old.
versus Godzilla.
Right.
Yeah, the movie has been out for 20 years.
A couple of rows ahead of us is this kid, probably about my age when I first saw Star Wars for the first time.
Okay.
And when Godzilla gets killed on the Brooklyn Bridge, I think it's the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah.
He's just crying. It's like the worst day ever for him, and I felt like the biggest asshole after that. And I stopped writing reviews. I said, "That's it, I'm done." I became the people that I hated when I was that age, who took a dump on movies that I loved. The '98 version is not good, but it's entertaining, and I think that if you're a certain age or audience, that you can appreciate it for what it is. It's a giant monster movie, and those things resonate with a large number of people for different reasons. But I can't. I try very hard not to take the wind out of somebody's sails if they like something.
Yeah.
Especially when it's something so innocuous as a monster movie, right? It's
Right.
Not life and death, and if you want to like it and reassess it later, that's your business.
Well, it's funny that you say that because about the crying at the '98 movie because
Did you cry?
no. Well, I was tying it back to this one with Minus One, where I was genuinely thought it was a very heartfelt movie, and I didn't like full on cry, but I teared up at the end of the movie because I was just like. It's kind of a novel idea to think that, well, if it's a monster movie, we have to focus on the monster. And I'm not taking away what Warner Brothers and Legendary has done with those current Godzilla movies. I like them.
Yeah,
I think they're
Kong
fun.
versus Godzilla was awesome. It was summer popcorn fare, and I loved every second of it.
But I think that Legendary and Warner Brothers needs to understand that this is a huge sign to them, be like, you need to step your game up because this movie had so much heart and humanity in it that I was like, I cannot believe this is in a Godzilla movie because I had never experienced it. Again, my only experience is that Broderick '98 movie and then what Legendary's been doing. So this was it was almost like a completely different experience for me because, again, I've never seen a Japanese Godzilla movie. And I have a feeling this is pretty common. Like, the Japanese Godzilla movies have a lot more heart in them than people give them credit for.
Yeah. And
it varies, right? So, like, I mean, and I agree with what you're saying. I think there's definitely an emotional core to this movie. But it's one of the things that I took away from it, thinking about it and talking to some people, was there's a level of camaraderie that happens with the characters.
Yeah.
Where we get to kind of know them a little bit more than, people standing in a room and talking about a thing, right? Which happens with almost a lot of these.
Yeah.
It's almost every monster movie ever, right?
Yeah.
It's here's the thing and let's figure it out. And
how do we kill it?
This is going to be a scene where they're trying to figure out what they're going to eat next week.
Right.
Or they're breaking bread with the crew of that little boat, right?
Yeah.
And just small things like that endear you with the characters. I mean, the acting was phenomenal too. But,
Yeah.
A lot of times when it's hard. I shouldn't say it's hard, but that's where they don't have that level of detail, and then you say, "Well, I don't really care what happens to the people because they're just there to,
window dressing."
Take up space until the monster shows up again.
And I thought it was so smart to place it after World War II. And because, Tyler and I were talking about this before we started recording, because we just saw it together, where it's like, if anybody tries to say that the reason why this movie is good is because it's not political and it's not woke,
you didn't watch
they
the movie.
didn't watch the same movie I did. Because this movie is anti-government, it's anti-war. It talks about how governments continue to fail us at every way. And, like, the whole point of this movie were that citizens did it.
Yeah.
Citizens killed it. Like, that's such a fucking cool, powerful message for this movie.
That speech alone at the end, right before they get going, or at the end of the presentation where the doctor says, this country has been too, cheap with lives. And, let's do this without sacrificing one life. And you could tell that resonated with that Koichi character, Shikishima. Shikishima. It's because it looks like Shikishima, but the way they pronounce it is like Shikishima or something. It's very quick or whatever. But the main character, basically, the kamikaze pilot who didn't do the kamikaze, and that's part of it is just how much it was talking about. We can't talk about Godzilla movies and the loss of life in World War II and the kamikaze pilots and everything, and we can't talk about that without talking about the connection between the atomic testing, the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and how Godzilla came out of that in the Japanese kind of worldview, if you will. Carter, do you want to kind of explain a little bit like how Godzilla kind of came to be, to the best of your recollection? Because it does have a lot to do with the atomic bombs, and like in the original story, I think we awakened him or something. But can you give it a little bit more of that?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the first Godzilla movie definitely was an allegory for the horrors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? I mean, it was definitely that, but there's also a subtext in there where in some circles, scholars have looked at it and said Godzilla is actually a punishment from the divine.
Yes.
For the
waging
failures
war
of Japan, right?
Yeah.
Because they feel like they let their emperor down. He was, this is their punishment. It wasn't just that atomic bombs are bad. It was, this is what we're getting for doing what we did.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's always been kind of that undercurrent for at least some of it, right? When you get later on in the filmography, right, you see go from allegory of terror and war, the horrors of war, and the scope of destruction, right?
Yeah.
You get into things where there's aliens and there's black hole monsters and stuff like that.
Hedorah and King Hedorah,
and the people say, oh well, then the political message becomes diluted and it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I disagree with that is that Godzilla is, at this stage in our world, he's a legacy character.
Yeah.
and all legacy characters have a time and a place that you can sit there and go 50, 60, 70 years later say, well, this isn't any good, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's bullshit, because that's hindsight, and then that's also an insult to the people that made those movies at those times, right?
Right.
Is Godzilla a superhero? Yes. Is Godzilla an allegory for the horrors of war? Yes. Is Batman the grim? Yes. Is he Adam West? Yes. Is James Bond Jason Bourne-like spy? Yes. Is he a superhero? Yes. Robin Hood, Jesus Christ, Superman.
Well,
you
so-
get long enough. You get long enough in the thing, and what it becomes is a reflection of the world that is at that time, right? So if you go back to Shin Godzilla, which came out in 2016, that was very much a reflection of how they were looking at the world just 5 years after the disasters of 2011, where they had
The tsunami,
earthquakes, so on,
and the legendary stuff. I was just gonna say, you talk about reflection. I think that a lot of people talk about the legendary Godzilla movies is that he is more of like a superhero, because that's what's selling right now, and that's why Godzilla versus Kong was this big. And granted, we had seen it before, but this was like their big civil war. This is our version of Godzilla.
Well, when
versus Kong.
when they finally do team up to beat Mechagodzilla in that movie, it's not on the level of hey, Captain America just caught Thor's hammer type of movie moment, but it is a all right, kick ass, awesome.
There is that, but there's also an element of there's still things happening, right?
Yeah.
So if you go back to 1971, Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, Godzilla versus Hedorah, right?
Yep.
A very, very, very political movie.
Yeah.
Almost, where it's like, because the whole idea is that this alien thing has come from outer space and it's come to our planet and it's eating off of our pollution.
Yes.
Is such a powerful message, in the way that they've done it. It's almost like an art house film, and so that's why I talked about like legacy. So you think about the film movement and style and perception of the 70s, right?
Yeah.
60s and 70s. It was very much experimental filmmaking, the new wave cinema, all that stuff, right? So you get to now, and Legendary shows up and says, "We're going to make a Godzilla movie." Well, the first one in 2014 had such amount of again, the 2011 tsunami. I mean, there's a scene in Hawaii that shows the destructive nature of that type of thing, but it was also very steeped in like our age of super disasters that we live in now, right? Katrina, 9/11, just mass catastrophic ecological impacts and how people deal with them. And even I would say Godzilla versus Kong, how there's this company called Apex, and they've pretty much been doing whatever they want. They're like Boston Dynamics, right? They're making AIs and killer robots, and everybody's just like, well, they have this whole thing with commercials, and it's like, it's very much Elon Musk or Steve Jobs, and it's like, well, okay, that's a political statement. That's still now does it necessarily quote unquote work? That's up to
that
debate,
could be argued. I think.
So I don't think that they. I mean, obviously they're making entertainment at this level with those movies, but anyway, not soapbox, but I think that when they sit down and say, what story are we going to tell? Who are the bad guys?
Yeah,
the bad guys are us.
Yeah,
again, and anyway, that happens almost throughout every movie. One of these movies. Ultimately, there's a human being or human beings that have done something stupid and evil and wrong.
Hubris,
unleashed a thing.
Yeah.
And done a thing. It's made things worse for people.
Yeah. One last thing before we get to the actual movie that we're talking about.
20 minutes into the review.
Hey, listen. Before we
So broader conversation.
Hang on, listen. Yeah, I knew that when we were going to do this with Carter, that I wanted to unpack a lot of the Godzilla mythos and how it relates to Japan's culture, especially after World War II, and how it changed. It shifted dramatically the attitudes of the Japanese people from pre-war. We are the strongest and the mightiest and everything, to basically almost meek, and then they just and if you will, they kind of thought, hey, there's another way that we can conquer the world, and it's through innovation. And that's where, in the 80s and stuff, they all talked about how, all the Japanese products and everything, because they were superior products. But neither of that. Just one quick thing about legacies. We've talked about Captain America before and how it's now, 70 years after World War II now? And how you really can't take Captain America, no matter how long it's been since World War II. I don't know, in 100 years what that's going to be like, but I think you almost cannot do Captain America without putting him in World War II. You just have to make the suspended animation however long it needs to be. You can't really do him in Vietnam. You can't really do him in Korea, because World War II was the last quote-unquote righteous war
Good
that we
guys
fought.
versus bad guys.
Would you agree with that, Carter?
Well, I think yeah. I mean, there is that, but I think there's also the spark, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's Bruce Wayne and his parents go to the movie theater, or go to Cesaro or whatever it is that they do, right?
Yeah.
It's Krypton explodes. Captain America is a result
Canon
of,
event.
Yeah, it's a canon event.
Yeah, it's a canon event. Yeah,
Right.
So, but I think one of the things that people have been doing lately with Captain America is that they've been talking about, okay, maybe it wasn't such a great thing with the introduction of a character like Isaiah Bradley, right?
Yes.
Where they said, okay, the super soldier serum was developed and used and tested on, black soldiers and
Without their
airmen.
knowledge, yeah.
Like the Tuskegee experiments. So I mean, you can still add something new to it that makes it relevant to us. But yeah, you kind of have to. I mean, what was the thing that they said? Captain America has been out of suspended animation.
Yeah.
In the comic books, longer than
he was in it.
And so this man out of time. I mean, there's a point where you're right. 100 years. From his origin, to 2041.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of hard for this fish out of water thing to happen as effectively as it does.
It'll be time for a Crisis on Infinite Earths from Marvel at 2041, I guess.
Right.
Well,
but anyway, yeah.
So, like, this movie, how this whole thing comes together, like, story-wise, I think, again, is such a fascinating portrayal of the character, where it's like you again, having no prior experience with this, I really felt like this movie, you were talking about how when you think about it, it was created as like, yes, what we talked about, like a moral thing, like this was a punishment for war and fighting and all this other stuff, but we're seeing it take such pride and care with this movie, because they turned him into what he originally was, or what it was, which is this horror character.
A force for destruction.
When Godzilla is on screen, it is terrifying. When Godzilla is on screen and does shit in this movie, it is incredible. Like, I gotta just talk about the visual effects. The eyes, the eyeballs drove me insane because they were actual eyeballs. I can see his eyes, so I can see his intent.
Yes.
And it's incredible
pissed
how
all the
much
time.
eyes make a difference. Like,
when that big warship, like, they're doing the decoy, and then it just flies across the
chucks
bay.
it, like, oh my god.
The decoy team has been destroyed, and like, holy shit! I got to be honest, Carter. Like, one of the things, I'm not as into Godzilla movies as, like, say, you are. We grew up with them and everything, but I don't think I got as much out of them as you did. But this movie, when his fucking spikes start coming out, and everything.
Oh my gosh! When they do the atomic breath, holy crap, dude!
Aren't you just like, oh fuck yeah, and so I mean, that's one thing that this movie did for me more than any other one. any other Godzilla movie or iteration is that it made me like go when he was on screen or when he was basically being Godzilla. It was like just jazzed as hell, and it was like this is great.
But then you remember like, oh wait, he's
killing like a lot of people.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing I noticed is this movie makes life so important. And that's such a good message for a movie like this. You know what I mean? And you don't see fucking superhero movies deal with it this way.
No.
And it's like this was what's so crazy about it. This is a great example of how you can interpret destruction and interpret actual stakes and loss.
Yeah.
Every time
Right.
when the mechanic touches him at the end and tells him I made an ejection seat and says live.
I almost
Everybody
cried. I
that
almost
had to
cried.
deal with the war just says live.
Yes.
Living is enough. Like that's fucking powerful.
Within 10 minutes, honestly, you just want to be like, "Hey, Koichi, fucking lighten up, dude." Jeez,
I hated that guy.
When are you gonna notice that this beautiful woman like wants to be in your life, and you basically have a daughter together? I mean, just lighten up. But then you're like, I wasn't in that.
But he
so.
has that great line in there though. But he says, "My war is not over."
Yeah.
I mean, it works for the character. Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the powerful messages that I took out of it was, you talk about the stakes and everything is, and we've had this in a lot of the movies actually, where they've talked about the aftermath or the post, the PTSD of an experience like this. And this one, I think they spent a lot more time on it with the main character and, lighten up a little bit, but then at the same time, I think about, some of the, what we see, in our modern lens of when people are traumatized by something like this.
Yeah.
I also didn't see what he saw.
How do you the guilt of for what he thought he had done.
Yeah. The
let's be
survivor's
honest,
guilt and the
survivor's guilt. Yeah. I mean, he as soon as they said, "Hey, I've got an idea. Do you have a plan?" I'm like, "Oh, here we go." He's gonna do the kamikaze, or he's gonna fulfill his legacy. He's going to earn his honor. And as far as the ejection seat, I thought it was interesting that it was a German ejector seat.
Yeah.
Because there's a little label on it. It was like,
yes,
Blumhaugen,
it was
wow.
a phonetic alphabet. I noticed that too. It wasn't Japanese
what
writing.
a catch.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's using like old Axis scraps, which is
Probably.
awesome.
Yeah.
Probably,
Like that's such a cool attention to detail that you wouldn't think about.
Yeah.
That plane. So I'm sitting there watching that, and they go into the warehouse, and they say, "Hey, we got a plane for you." And I'm like, "Oh, what is it going to be? It's going to be like a biplane or something."
That's what I thought too.
Something, right? And no, it's this thing that looks like, oh man, they made something up. And no, that was a real plane. They actually developed that as they built 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
It was built to, as they said in the movie, to intercept bombers for the invasion that never came. So it was a real thing, which I think was a cool little detail that afterwards because I was like, God, was that a real thing? But anyway, back to the sacrifice. It was a to live for your country, to live for your future. I think was the
that
message.
To the kid, yeah.
They're building this for the future.
Or we're leaving the future to you as they walk away, and he's screaming at him, "Take me with you."
It's on us to make the future better. Like, dude,
Right.
and again, in a freaking Godzilla movie, we're getting these themes. We're dealing with postpartum PTSD.
Yeah.
We're dealing with this, and like on top of that, there's some amazing shots of this giant Godzilla. Like, dude, the first scene when Godzilla shows up, and they do that shot almost like it looks like it's
You're
like a
looking
one
up.
take.
Yeah, you're looking.
It's a
up.
single take of Godzilla biting that mechanic, throwing him up in the air, and the camera follows the body while the body flies in the background. Godzilla's in the foreground, and you're underneath it.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that shot's insane.
Yeah.
Like, that's so good.
One thing that just to kind of touch on the larger themes and everything, when he first gets back to his home and he notices everything's bombed, I want to say Sumiko, the lady who babysits for Akiko,
And just gave him so much
but
shit when he got
she
home.
gives him a bunch of shit for not fulfilling his destiny, and it's cowards like you that caused us to lose and everything like this, right?
Yeah.
After that first attack in Ginza, and he's just wrought with guilt, isn't he thinking about, if I had only taken that shot on Odo Island, maybe like all these people are dead because I let the creature live and it became this? You know, I mean,
Well, I
that's
think it's-
a second.
And it goes
That's
to
a
his
second.
indecisiveness.
Yeah, right. That's a second example of like, hey, you fucked up, man. Like, so,
This-
just kind of like that little scene between those two, kind of towards the beginning, is almost a microcosm of the entire movie and the message as a whole. If you think about it.
Yeah, no, that was but you know, one thing that I thought about too was he obviously has guilt, right? If I'd have done the thing, things would have been better. But
Yeah.
I think also he opts not to fulfill his mission at the beginning of the movie, right? He says, I'm not going to do it. And you think, well, he's a coward. It's like, no, he's smart.
Yes.
Because he knows that it's not going to mean shit.
And if he does,
And so,
fulfill his mission, right? Go ahead.
yeah, then it wouldn't have mattered because days later they surrendered, right?
Right. And on top of that, when Godzilla does finally come and everything, you know, he wouldn't have been there to do the kamikaze almost
Yeah.
thing at the very
At
end.
the
So,
end, yeah.
So he
But
kills it
when
in the
he's
end,
on-
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, when he's on Odo Island, right? And the guy says, hey, go shoot him with your gun.
Right.
He sits there and he goes, well, I know how these guns work. These guys are mechanics,
Yeah.
right? They're not soldiers. And they even say so. They're like,
Yeah,
well,
that's why you need to
we
shoot
weren't-
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he goes, you know, obviously he freezes a little bit, but I
Yes.
think it's also like the knowledge of what's going to happen. It's not cowardice, it's intelligence.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that carries throughout the movie too, where they say we're going to beat this with brains instead of brawn.
Because brawn hasn't worked.
Brawn hasn't worked, right? They sent the one battleship after it,
Which
and
was
that
a
didn't-
cool
Oh,
fucking
The
sequence.
sequence where he's chasing their boat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
yeah.
And it's the eyes. I'm telling you, it's the eyes. The fact that I could see this monster's eyes make it even more scary because I see his eyes of intent.
Real
you
quick,
know what I mean?
real quick, Carter. I remember. I want to say in the '90s, Dark Horse brought back a Godzilla comic book, or they started doing one. And one of the iconic kind of images from that was the Art Adams cover. Do you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know about you, but that Godzilla in -1 looks exactly, or vice versa, the one, or he's just a really incredible artist. But I really liked that. Helped me a lot to get into this movie, because you know, one thing we do gotta mention: Godzilla has changed his look many
Yeah, I mean,
times.
there's very much, but yeah.
That helped me get back into the movie and get back into Godzilla, was that it was a recognizable iteration. I mean, talking about the 98 movie, that was unrecognizable to me. What the hell
Yeah.
is that? It's a big lizard,
Right.
and, you know, so yeah.
I mean, even the legendary one, he definitely looks. The joke online was that he was chunky because he looked bigger than.
Well-
but to be fair, this Toho version, he got some thick thighs.
Well,
though.
he-
Come on now.
No,
Think-
yeah.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about that. Yeah,
He's
Carter.
a thick boy.
I was thinking about that too, where his entire lower body is like really, really big, right? And why? Because he's swimming underwater.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let's think about this too. When he's like up in the water during a lot of these ocean
He's not
scenes,
standing.
yes, no, he's treading water, right? He has to be. He's not tall enough,
Yeah,
right?
his feet are kicking underwater.
Right. So yeah, of course he's got gigantic thighs. I mean, he could, you know, yeah.
Yeah,
But-
he's a leg swimmer.
Yeah.
But you know, one thing I will say about this iteration, so you know, I've watched them all, watched them more than a few times, right? And almost every one of them, it's like, oh yeah, Godzilla's here. That's all right. Even the 1954 version,
Yeah.
where there's a certain amount of dread permeates, right, the kind of the horrific nature of it, and it is very spooky and effective, especially in black and white.
Oh yeah.
But this one, was probably one of the first times that I've seen a Godzilla movie where I said, I want this fucker to leave. I
Yeah,
want him out
right?
of here because
It was awful.
It was awful, yeah. And he's kind of an asshole. I mean, one
Right?
of the first truly, like, and not just a wild monster or wild animal kind of like villainy,
Yeah.
quote unquote villainy, right? But like Jaws,
Yeah.
you know, again, back to comparing that to that movie, where it's like, you know, you could say maybe there's a prequel motivation thing where it's like, oh, you know, somebody called him a bad name when he was a little kid, and that's what motivates him to be a jerk. But he shows up on Odo Island and he just starts stomping ass, right?
Just for no reason.
And-
Just was like,
No reason.
I'm gonna fuck these guys up. That's it.
I was going to
Yeah.
take a nap, but you assholes are here.
I'm
now I gotta
hungry.
kill you.
Yeah. And there was you know, so there's a sequence in the movie that he has that nightmare where Godzilla's kind of come to his home, and there was almost like this brief moment where I thought, oh God, it's gonna be a thing where it's like a curse or
Yeah.
some sort of supernatural thing,
Yeah.
where it's like he's always there when he comes, and it's like a nightmare that's come to life. And there was a Godzilla movie from the 2000s that kind of touched on that supernatural, where Godzilla's the villain in capital V, right?
Yeah.
And it's Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, All Monsters Attack, where Godzilla is actually the embodiment of all the deceased soldiers from World War II.
Oh my God.
He's a ghost. He's essentially a ghost
Jesus.
come to life, like a phantasm.
Wow.
And there's a lot of really horror elements involved in that. But yeah, it's just like, God, he's such an asshole.
Yeah.
It's like there's no reason that he has to bite that train. The train didn't do nothing.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. But that says so much about the writing of this movie and how important it is. And I was so wrong about these movies because the American versions of these movies is their characters suck, so I don't care. So I'm like, I don't care, get to the monsters.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with how well this movie made the humans matter and made me care. And I was like, oh, that's really how you do it. I'm thinking it all wrong. Because, like you were saying, every time Godzilla is on screen, I'm excited because I'm like, oh, shit. I'm waiting for the cool effects. But at the same time, dude, when he shoots his atomic breath and seeing that level of destruction, and then to see that amazing visual of him standing and seeing all that stuff crushing and then him letting out another large like growl and then seeing all the black come down.
I was just
so
gonna
good.
say, kind of wrapping it up and everything a little bit, but to kind of wrap it up, I would like to say that my favorite Godzilla moment in this movie was when he's walking away after he has curb stomped Ginza, and he's just walking away, and Koichi's sitting there, and he's looking at him, and you see that black fallout above
Yeah, that's what I was talking
Godzilla,
about,
exactly the moment you're talking about, and he's just screaming at him, and then that black rain starts to fall, and yeah, he lets out that that to me was probably my favorite like Godzilla moment in the movie, was when he was just like, hey, I'll be back next week to fuck you up again. You know, like, all right, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Nice try, guys.
But the black rain, exactly, like that big giant black cloud. Yeah. What about you guys?
Dude, some of the some of the camera work, and it's like I don't know how he did it. I don't know how the director, who also did the visual effects in this, wrote it, directed it, visual effects. I don't know how he was so able to. The CG is so good.
Yeah.
That it captures Godzilla's essence so well. Like when he shoots out his atomic breath in that third act fight, and then you see it scarring his skin and burning off. I was like, God, that's such a good shot.
Right. Like attention to detail. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
my favorite moment was the first time he did the breath, where you saw the spikes pop up on his tail, up his back,
And he
then,
does it underneath the boat, I think, the first time.
and
Am
then
I right?
And then
Yep.
and then the spikes come down, and then it shoots. That was so cool. That was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Carter? What do you think?
Well, I think you know, my if I was hard pressed to say what my favorite moment from the movie is, you know, it's probably when they do the demonstration of what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
where they're
good
sitting
scene.
around the conference room where they breaks out the little scale model of
Yeah.
wooden Godzilla, and it's. I was talking to a friend of mine, and it's like, oh shit, it's Doc Brown. He's Doc Brown. He's got the. Excuse me for the crudity of the model, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's okay, Doc. It's okay. I
mean,
didn't
he's
have
got the
time to
hair,
put
he's
it to
got the
scale.
glasses,
Yeah.
right? And then he pointed out that he looks, that scientist guy looks a lot like from A Mighty Wind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God. It's what's his name character. Eugene Levy's character. Shoot.
Yeah.
He does. Oh my God, I forgot. I didn't think about that. Yeah, he's wild hair, except for he didn't have like the beard or whatever. But yeah.
Right, but it just had it was a really a nice kind of coalescence of all the things you like about a Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
It's like even the ones that are like, you know, I don't care about the characters, there's still a moment where they all kind of like get together and kind of like there's competency porn,
Yes.
right? Where it's like, we're gonna figure this out.
It's like, oh,
and
they're
it's
so
gonna-
logical.
Dude, I love I love when they do planning scenes. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Come on, you can't tell me you didn't like you just on this very show. Tyler was talking about how much you love that scene in Jaws when they were talking about how to kill the shark. This is what this was.
Oh God, they're taking minutes. Oh God.
Oh yeah, write it down. Write down the data.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a model? Oh man, demonstrate it.
But see, can I just say, I think the whole plot to kill Godzilla in this movie was kind of hilarious to me. Like, we're just gonna sink this thing that lives in water, but then it'd be like, no, all this pressure will kill it. And I'm like, do you think that you're gonna sink the giant? And
It did work. It just didn't work.
yeah,
Well, and that's what was great about it was when and this is back to my comment about the competency porn, where it's like he gives it the science, right? He goes, here's the math, and you go 1,500 tons per square inch at this rate, at this, you know, and it's like, oh yeah, that would be bad. That would be fucked up.
Yeah. And then if it doesn't work, then we raise them right away, and that's like also a good like, hey, let's just fuck
And
them
they're
up
like,
as
well,
much
let's
as
go
we can.
demonstrate. And they're like, here's this inflatable dinghy that pops out, and they're all like, and it was really just kind of neat, right?
Yeah.
It was, and then I will point out one thing, and I don't know if you noticed this, but did you notice the Top Gun thing?
What part?
Well, like the main character, he's Maverick, right?
He does wear
that.
he does wear that jacket like a lot through the movie.
well, he's a
He
pilot.
rides on-
Same
motorcycle.
hairstyle. Yep.
Wow.
He got the Tom Cruise haircut. He's
He
got
does.
the
Didn't even
airplane.
think
He
about
does
that.
the thing. It's take my breath away. I was, you know, like,
Oh wow.
but it speaks. It just real quick. I know we're running late, but
We got time.
it
We're
speaks
just
speaks about a lot about like the and I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but the person behind this movie has said that, you know, he has his the language of movies, the language of cinema is so deep
Yeah.
that it shows, right? You know, you talk about how well they did the things and how, you know, they got all these. It's somebody who studied the craft and understands it and understands the language,
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
and is not bothered to like do anything else other than that vision, right?
Yeah.
And using those tools, and that's, you know, I think that if I'm going to give this thing a grade. And I've been thinking about this a lot. What am I going to call this? I'm calling this a very good movie.
Yeah.
And people say, "What do you mean? It's great." I'm like, "Yes, you can say it's great with, you know, but at its heart, it's a very good movie. It's a movie that if you see it on TV at any point when it's running, you'll stop and you'll watch the rest of it."
Yes.
And there's, you know, I think that's the difference between this and maybe some of the other efforts is it's a good movie, good, like a good meal, right?
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
satisfied by it. You are comforted by it, but you get some new things
There's
out
some
of it.
fried shit, but there's also veggies.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Full, yeah.
Yeah.
I give it 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I take a point away from it because I totally disagree with the bringing back.
I didn't.
The very end.
I didn't. I didn't like that in Noriko coming back. I didn't like it either.
I did because
Kinda takes it away a
you know
little, in my
what? That
opinion.
guy's been fucked with, and like, you know what? Let's
He
Yeah,
still had
yeah, no, he has.
Akiro. He still had the kid.
Akiko, absolutely. But
Akiko,
I mean,
sorry.
to me, like bringing back the family. First of all, no, that wouldn't happen. Especially the way what happened to her. No,
No,
she
she's
doesn't
dead.
survive. Yeah. But yeah, I totally get why you guys don't really like it, but I did like it just because I knew when she got that telegram during the fight, I knew that it was, hey, she's okay.
Yeah.
How do I get word to Koichi that she's okay?
Oh yeah,
you know,
no,
right?
I totally get it.
Right. But I
it's-
get why
it's-
you don't like it
yeah.
either. Yeah.
Well, and it's not that I don't.
Or
I
why
hate
it's-
it. It's
yeah.
just I think that it feels a lot like they did a test screening and they said,
Yeah, it does.
Hey.
It does feel like they had to reshoot. Yeah.
Maybe.
or going back to Jaws as a comparison. So in Peter Benchley's novel,
Yeah.
Hopper dies.
Yeah.
Hopper's killed by the shark.
Yeah.
And they follow that arc all the way through the movie, and then poof, he shows up at the very end.
Yeah.
And because they looked at the dailies, they did some test audience stuff, and they said, we didn't like that Hopper died.
Yeah.
And he comes back. And that feels a lot like that, where it's like, it doesn't, I wouldn't say cheapens it, but especially the you know, she should have been vapor.
It's
right?
a
It should have
yeah. Well, she gets blown back, and then everything gets blown the other way because of how
Yeah.
physics works with explosions. You basically create a vacuum. Quick aside, obviously we're off panel, off topic, but when you see dudes like running 10 feet away from an explosion in a movie and they jump at the moment of explosion and they're okay, that shit doesn't happen in real life. Those guys' lungs and hearts are outside of their bodies because of the rush of air to fill that
shockwave.
vacuum. When an explosion creates a vacuum in time space, the rush of air, everything around it just whoosh. Like that doesn't happen. But yeah, so yeah, just kind of wrap that part of it. But we are this week we're going to start this.
I don't
thing
know who
called-
agreed to this.
What we're going to start this? We're going to start doing Die Hard December this week, starting this week.
Next week. Yeah.
Right, but we wanted to. Jake and I each want to watch a man in the suit and miniatures Godzilla movie from that era, and review it on Wednesday. Which one do you think? Which one would you recommend that we watch? It doesn't necessarily have to be the very first one with Raymond Burr or even the Japanese version of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking more of a color one and maybe even a little cheesy like Son of Godzilla. But what would you think?
Boy, you know, I there's so many choices.
Right.
But I would say Godzilla versus Smog Monster
Good one.
would be a good choice because I think, and that would be one. And then Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla is always a personal favorite
Okay.
because it incorporates a lot of things that I like about stuff. Specifically like the counterpart villain, which
Yeah.
I think is one of my favorite tropes.
Of course.
But I would say those two, maybe Destroy All Monsters.
I like the idea of the Smog Monster because that was one of the ones that I remember most when I was a kid, and I haven't seen it in a while. So I'm thinking we'll do that one. But yeah, I do appreciate the recommendations, and as always love to talk to you about Godzilla and stuff. We had those. For those of you who don't know, they used to have these gigantic plastic models of like Shogun warriors and stuff, and we had those, and they would not be allowed today because you literally could probably give a kid a concussion with one of those exploding fists from the Godzilla, or poke. Yeah. You could poke somebody's eye out with one of the missiles from the Shogun warrior, but spring loaded. Like, don't wear your safety glasses when you're playing with the toys, kids.
Right.
All right. Well, Carter, thanks for joining us. It's fun. Always fun to talk to you about stuff like this because, again, you're kind of the expert for us. So Glad you could join us.
No. Yeah, thanks for having me. And I think it's definitely a 9.5, almost 10. It is a great movie.
It's not
they did
perfect.
a fantastic job.
Yeah, but it's close.
But I think definitely. If you're taking a listen to this and you haven't had a chance to see it yet, go see it on the big screen.
Yeah, support this movie so we get more of these kind of movies.
Before you go, Carter, you told me something about the IMAX screens. Can you repeat that for our audience? Because I thought that was really interesting. You were talking about that.
Well, there are some IMAX screens that are like, I think, 23 feet tall.
Okay.
Right. There's some real big ones out there. Right. And they said, well, Godzilla in this movie is about to. If you took two of these IMAX screens and stood them on, stacked them.
Yeah.
And and you sit there and go, wow, that would have been horrifying.
Yeah.
To see. But, I know here where we're at, they didn't have it on the IMAX because they were showing, I think, the Beyonce movie.
Of course.
That's important.
But, whatever.
The spectacle. The sheer spectacle.
Hey, there's people out there.
Faye and her concert.
Hey, people enjoy that stuff.
That's true.
Yeah, no, it's nothing against that. I think it was just...
Yeah.
It's like
you only have so many screens. And
bad timing.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say this, though.
Yeah, get a chance to see it on the big screen, see it. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to buy. I want to buy this on 4K when it comes out and watch it on my 4K TV because it's just a movie that I want to watch again. And real quick, to wrap it up, to finalize this whole review, I am fucking over movie theaters. I'm done with them. I'm serious. This movie, we saw this as a matinee. We saw this as a matinee on a Sunday morning, 10 a.m. We're going to be like, all right, let's get in. Let's watch it early. We could do the review early afternoon. We'll be fine. So we go in, we sit down, we get in there, we get into the theater, I don't know, maybe a little bit before 10.
9:45.
We got our popcorn and everything.
Yeah.
We sit down, ready
We
to
saw
go.
every commercial twice.
This movie did not start until 10:40. And a lot of these commercials we had already seen, and then we got maybe 3 trailers, and then they threw an ad between a trailer, and I'm like, you bitch.
Just to make sure, because there was one commercial we hadn't seen twice, and they were like, oops, fuck that up. Here's that second one.
Yeah.
But seriously.
We should have gone to Flicks.
Seriously.
Because they don't do that. They have different pre-movie stuff.
30 minutes.
Flicks is actually entertaining the way they... And for the Godzilla movie, might have been really cool. So
this is proof, Carter, that there's no such thing as superhero fatigue to cause these box office problems. It's these stupid fucking theaters that make it a 30-minute wait before I can watch my damn movie. I can turn on Disney Plus and it's there.
Who's the really excited lady who's talking about movies? Piper or something.
Shut the hell up, Maria Menounos.
Yeah. No, but you know the one I'm talking about with like the bad hair or a pipe or something.
Oh, yeah.
You are way too excited about movies, and I know you're making like $1,000 a minute talking about this, and good for you. But stop it. Just stop being so excited. Good God.
All right. Anyway, that's it. I just wanted to go off on that.
Real quick, Carter.
Two things real quick. I wanted to bring these up.
Yeah.
One, the guy who the person behind this, right, desperately wants to make a Star Wars movie.
I have seen that. Yeah.
Let him.
Okay, so
Do
that's
it.
like, yes, give it to him and let him run with it.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
And then, speaking of Star Wars, I wanted to bring up this comparison earlier where it's like, why aren't they doing this more with X? Right?
Yes.
And how like Andor.
Oh, yes.
Got a lot of that kind of like conversation, and you kind of have to like temper that with, if every day was Black Friday, we would be millionaires, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, but that's one thing. But the mistake I think some filmmakers make is we'll just copy it.
Yes.
And it's like, no, you don't.
Looking at you, JJ.
You can still have all these things that are quote unquote campy and goofy and whatever. But if you do it well, doesn't matter what the theme is or the focus, like all that stuff. You do it good, and people are going to like it.
It's all about the story.
We got some JJ hate on this podcast. I absolutely abhor what he did to Star Wars, and I make sure to mention it about every couple weeks.
All right. Well, Carter, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks, Carter.
Yeah.
And we'll have to watch the Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
We'll talk about it off the air, but I like Smog Monster, but we'll talk about it.
Right,
Yeah.
we'll see if we can find
Okay.
it. But thanks, Carter.
Yep. Thank you guys.
What you
do?
What a nice gentleman, huh?
Yeah, well, I grew up with him. Yeah, he taught me manners and all that stuff, and how to. I was reading comic books before. I was really even aware of stuff. I can't think of for who I am and what I like and what I love. I can't think of a better older brother that I could have had. You know what I mean? Like, not that I ever do. Like, man, I wonder if this guy. I don't do that. But just so grateful to have that, and not only that, but like anytime he's super like he is active about like, hey, I want to make your album covers, which is awesome because I want him to. So it's nice that I don't have to like, hey, can you do this? You're like, what do you need? It's awesome. Always awesome.
You know what?
Merch at what is it? tpublic.com/user/theamazingbird. Who fucked that up?
Yeah. So thanks. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe.
Get a TV. Stop watching shit on your
Click
phone.
the bell so you know when we make more videos, because we're getting closer. We're at 280 some subscribers.
We're getting hot.
We're getting smoking hot. Also, we're beta male cucks, according to people that said that we didn't
soy
like
boys.
Soy's good for you.
Off Panel Off Topic with Jake and Tyler.